Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On 28 October 1915, the Department of the Navy officially transferred Marine Corps recruit training to Parris Island. Among the first 750 Marines sent to Parris Island were the depot's first bandmaster, drum major, and a group of musicians from which the Parris Island Marine Band was formed. The musicians also doubled as marksmanship instructors, close combat instructors, and provided support for various units aboard the depot. A field music school was also established to train Marine musicians prior to their assignment to individual bands throughout the fleet. Today, the Parris Island Marine Band is one of the premier military bands in America. It consists of 50 members under the direction of the band officer, Chief Warrant Officer 2 Genovese, the band master, Master Sergeant Mike, the enlisted conductors, Gunnery Sergeant Shaw and Gunnery Sergeant Henriksen, the instrument repair technician, Gunnery Sergeant Kucheski, the small ensemble leader, Staff Sergeant Hall, and the drum major, Staff Sergeant Gonzalez. The band travels throughout the United States providing music for military ceremonies, community relations events, recruiting programs, and other official events. They also have the ability to perform as several specialty ensembles such as ceremonial band, concert band, jazz ensemble, show band, and brass quintet, to name a few. While required to maintain a high degree of musical performance skills, these band members are above all else Marines, and must remain capable of assuming the tasks common to all Marines, those of a basic Marine rifleman. The band's heritage dates back to the whistling fifes and rolling drums of the 1st Marines music back in 1775, and upholds the tradition of excellence and service to Corps and country, which is a proud legacy to all Marines. The music this morning is presented by the Parris Island Marine Band. The drum major is Staff Sergeant Gonzalez, and the enlisted conductor is Gunnery Sergeant Shaw. The term devil dog is used today as a friendly reference between Marines, but the nickname has a proud history. It was first given to the Marines by German troops who fought against them at the Battle of Belleau Wood during World War I. In 1921, Major General Smedley Butler introduced the first bulldog as a Marine mascot. Now entering the parade deck is Parris Island's own devil dog, Lance Corporal Ofa May. Lance Corporal Ofa May is an English bulldog who enlisted in the Marine Corps on August 21st, 2017. She reported for recruit training on August 27th and graduated November 17th. Lance Corporal Ofa May's handler is Lance Corporal Lilly of the Headquarters and Service Battalion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops, First Sergeant Palmer.
Stop! Forward!
The staff for today's parade is comprised of drill instructors from the 2nd and 4th Recruit Training Battalions. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. The chaplain of the 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Headley, United States Navy, will deliver the invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, spiritual formation plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. With that in mind, please join me in a prayer for the Marines of Companies E and N. Let us pray. God, as we gather together today, we give you thanks for giving these young men and women the patience, strength, and courage necessary to accomplish the goal of becoming United States Marines. Working through their diversities of cultures and personalities, you have forged them into a team. Thank you for seeing them through the physical, emotional, and spiritual trials of training. You have blessed them with loving families and friends who have supported them while they were here. Thank you for bringing them safely to share this special moment with them. God, we pray that you will continue to watch over them and us, our Corps and our country, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Present-day parades in the Marine Corps have their basis in both history and tradition. The massed formation of troops on one long line at close interval made possible the massing of firepower from muzzle-loaded muskets of yesterday. In those early days, the line of battle was just that, a line of 2 or 3 ranks, and looked much like the parade formation that you are about to see today. The adjutant forms the line for battle. The Marine marching across the parade deck is First Sergeant Ferreira. He is the parade adjutant and will very shortly give the command to begin the ceremony. His position, when he halts, indicates where the right flank of the formation will rest. Once positioned, he will draw his sword and supervise the placement of the formation. Marines have served aboard Parris Island since 1891, and more than 1 million Marines have been trained here. They have departed Parris Island for combat in conflicts throughout the world. the misty wheat fields of Bella Wood, the gritty beaches of the Pacific, the snow-capped mountains of Korea, the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, the parched desert sands of Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and every other clime and place where Marines have sacrificed for country and corps. The first called upon, the first to arrive, and the first to fight, the Marine Corps, the nation's force in readiness, has answered the call to numerous hotspots around the globe, showing the world once again that the United States Marine Corps is America's premier 911 force. Marching on to the parade ground is Company E and Company N. They began their training on December 15, 2018, and today's graduation marks the end of a demanding and difficult 12 weeks of training. These young men and women you see marching before you have met and mastered the challenge of recruit training. They have qualified with the service rifle and received basic warrior training. They have completed over 200 hours of academic instruction and participated in a rigorous physical training program that has developed their strength and stamina for the challenges ahead. Core values have been instilled in each of them, the meaning of honor, courage, and commitment. Marching before you this morning are 574 success stories, each of them a testament to the physical courage, dogged determination, and unyielding commitment to excellence that define the title Marine. This is what they have striven and persevered for, the right to walk across this parade deck as Marines. They have earned this title through demonstrated courage and achievement, and now join the proud ranks of over 1 million Marines who have graduated from Parris Island. From this day on, they will carry on the proud legacy and history of the United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marines of Company E and Company N. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove all hats for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. The parade adjutant now presents the command to the commander of troops, indicating that the parade is formed.
Series, all present or accounted for. 2020 series, all present or accounted for.
2008 series, all present, all accounted for.
Attention to orders. Headquarters, Marine Corps recruit people. Eastern recruiting region. Hands Island, South Carolina. 8 March 2019. The command, duty officer, the day today is Chief Warrant Officer 2, Harris. Command, duty officer, the day tomorrow is Chief Warrant Officer 3, White. Fire on the run. J.F. Glenn, Brigadier General, United States Marine Corps. Commanding Officer. Intent. On.
At the command officer center march, all unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that the commanding officer would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit commanders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information on to their Marines. Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. In keeping with the slogan, once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. We ask that those men and women in the audience who have served the United States Marine Corps please rise. Please join us in showing our appreciation for their dedicated service to Corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of the 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel MacArthur.
Good morning. On behalf of our Commanding General, Brigadier General Glenn, I'd like to welcome you to Marine Corps Recruit Depot Parris Island with the graduation ceremony for Company E and Company N. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize your Marines standing in formation. Most arrived here 13 weeks ago, and though they come from different parts of the country, with different walks of life, all leave here today as United States Marines. For the past 3 months, these Marines have been tested mentally, morally, and physically. They have completed water survival training, obtained their martial arts belt, qualified with their service rifles, passed their academic and physical fitness test, and mastered close order drill. Their training culminated with the Crucible, a 54-hour test of selflessness, teamwork, and endurance. Throughout their training, they have come to understand and embrace our core values of honor, courage, and commitment. We recognize that their journey began long before they arrived here. You built the foundation, placing them on the long and sometimes difficult road to reach this day. The encouragement of parents, family, and friends enabled them to complete recruit training, and your continued support will help them as Marines. Your Marines were also assisted by our recruiters, who I would like to recognize. These hardworking, dedicated professionals work countless hours in your hometowns, seeking out the best and most qualified applicants to become Marines. It was a recruiter who saw the potential in your Marine and offered them the challenge of becoming a United States Marine. We thank you for your service. Finally, I would like to recognize our phenomenal Marine drill instructors. This highly professional group dedicate themselves to transforming recruits into United States Marines. They have spent nearly every waking hour for the past 3 months teaching, training, coaching, and leading these young men and women. In fact, the professionalism of our drill instructors will be etched in your Marines' memories forever. So please join me in a well-earned round of applause for our drill instructors and for the families that support them. Address our new Marines. Good morning, Marines. You have accomplished much over the last 12 weeks, and you have rightfully earned the title of United States Marines. This moment is about you. Be proud of yourself in that uniform and all that you have done to reach this day. But know that tomorrow is no longer about you. It will be about all those who have served before us, who are now our legacy. It will be about those Marines standing to your left and to your right. It will be about the people sitting in these stands. And it will be about the nation you have sworn to defend. Serve with honor, serve with courage, and serve with commitment, and you will do well. Congratulations, Marines, on your tremendous achievement, and Semper Fidelis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you our Corps' newest United States Marines.
Ladies and gentlemen, in attendance today is the 17th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Michael P. Barrett, retired. The parade reviewing official for today's graduation ceremony is Sergeant Major Lynette Wright. Sergeant Major Wright enlisted in the Marine Corps on March 6, 1989, and upon completion of recruit training at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, she reported to Communications Electronics School and attained her primary military occupational specialty at the Telecommunications Center Operators Course. She has served in a variety of billets throughout the world, to include assignments in Okinawa, Japan, Camp Pendleton, California, Norfolk, Virginia, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Great Lakes, Illinois, and Quantico, Virginia. She has deployed in support of Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, Operation Native Fury, Operation Restore Hope, Operation Enduring Freedom, as well as deployments with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit and the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit. From 1996 to 1999, she completed a demanding tour as a Marine Security Guard where she served in Bridgetown, Barbados, Hong Kong, China, Tokyo, Japan, and Canberra, Australia. In 2014, she posted as the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit Sergeant Major, becoming the first female Marine to serve and deploy as the Sergeant Major for Marine Expeditionary Unit in Marine Corps history. She most recently served as the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Commanding General of 4th Marine Logistics Group. Later today, Sergeant Major Wright will be retired in a ceremony here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, to complete her 30 years of honorable service. Sergeant Major Wright's personal decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal with Gold Star in lieu of 3rd Award, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with 2 Gold Stars in lieu of 3rd Award, and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with Gold Star in lieu of 2nd Award. Now taking her position in the reviewing area is Sergeant Major Wright. She is being escorted by Sergeant Major Carter, Sergeant Major, Eastern Recruiting Region, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina.
You rock, Lynette!
Good morning, ma'am. The parade is full.
March command and review.
Aye, aye, ma'am. Staff, stand here. Down! Down! Pass! Review! Rise! Rise! Forward!
Commander of Troops, First Sergeant Palmer. His company commander is Captain Bates. The Parris Island Marine Band, under the direction of the Drum Major, Staff Sergeant Gonzalez, and the enlisted conductor, Gunnery Sergeant Shaw. Gunnery Sergeant Wagner and the graduating Marines of the 2016 series. His series commander is Captain Pregel. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 2016 is Gunnery Sergeant Bullard. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Arnold, Staff Sergeant Coletti, Staff Sergeant Freeman, and Sergeant Martinez. The Honor Platoon for Company E is Platoon 2017. The senior drill instructor is Staff Sergeant Gord. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Vega, Staff Sergeant Kate, and Sergeant Quinn. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 2018 is Gunnery Sergeant Becker. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Cobb, Staff Sergeant Acosta, Staff Sergeant Pfeiffer, and Staff Sergeant Camarino. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 2020 is Staff Sergeant Covington. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Munden, Staff Sergeant Silva, Sergeant Moore, and Sergeant Smith. The Regimental Color Guard. The Color Sergeant is Sergeant Funk. Staff Sergeant Van Beekum in the graduating Marines of the 2020 series. His series commander is Captain Villalobos. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 2021 is Staff Sergeant Charlton. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Henderson, Staff Sergeant Pfeiffer, Staff Sergeant Morris, and Sergeant Stout. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 2022 is Sergeant Bergstrom. He is assisted by Drill Instructor Sergeant Fulmer, Sergeant Thompson, Sergeant Gutierrez, and Sergeant Charlotte. Staff Sergeant LaRose in the graduating Marines of the 4008 series. Her series commander is Captain Ullum. The Honor Platoon for Company N is Platoon 4008. The senior drill instructor is Staff Sergeant Rogers. She is assisted by Drill Instructors Staff Sergeant Contreras, Staff Sergeant Mercure, Sergeant Lenderos, and Sergeant Sam. The senior drill instructor of Platoon 4009 is Staff Sergeant Barbier. She is assisted by Drill Instructors Staff Sergeant Marvel, Sergeant Medina Ponce, Sergeant Rutherford, Sergeant Paez Perez, and Sergeant Arzadi.
Hurrah, 4th Battalion!
gentlemen, the company commanders of Company E and Company N, Captain MD and Captain Bates. The new Marines carrying the platoon guidons have been selected as the honor graduates for their platoons. They will now retire their guidons.
Personnel to be awarded! Stand! March!
Got him! Order! Go!
The platoon guidons that are about to be retired have been the identification flags of each platoon throughout recruit training. To each, the guidon is a symbol of spirit, dedication, teamwork, and unit identity.
Retire the guidons!
Forward! March! Detail! Out! Left! Take!
The commanding officer of the 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel MacArthur, will present the High PFT and Honor Graduate Awards. He is accompanied by the 4th Recruit Training Battalion Sergeant Major Townsend. We would like to thank the Marine Corps Association for providing the awards today. Please hold your applause until all of the awards have been presented.
Good morning, sir. Personnel to be awarded, all present. Okay. Onward. March.
The most physically fit Marine of Company E is PFC Hardesty of Platoon 2016. PFC Hardesty scored 595 points out of 600 possible points. The most physically fit Marine of Company N is PFC Gonzalez of Platoon 4008. PFC Gonzalez scored 600 points out of 600 possible points. The honor graduate for Platoon 2016 is PFC Ross. PFC Ross is from Fort Meade, Maryland, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Martinez. The honor graduate for Platoon 2017 is PFC Caballero Vega. PFC Caballero Vega is from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and was recruited by Sergeant Rivera. The company honor graduate for Company E is PFC Sanders of Platoon 2018. PFC Sanders is from Woodbridge, Virginia, and was recruited by Gunnery Sergeant Etienne. The honor graduate for Platoon 2020 is PFC Pinsence. PFC Pinsence is from Woodbridge, Virginia, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Price. The honor graduate for Platoon 2021 is PFC Wilson. PFC Wilson is from Buford, Georgia, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Capistrano. The honor graduate for Platoon 2022 is PFC Gunn. PFC Gunn is from Fisherville, Virginia, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Boswick. The company honor graduate for Company N is PFC Armstrong of Platoon 4008. PFC Armstrong is from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Keosakan. The honor graduate for Platoon 4009 is PFC Perez Hines. PFC Perez Hines is from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, and was recruited by Staff Sergeant Aguilar. Marching onto the parade ground are the combat marksmanship instructors of Platoon 2018 and Platoon 4008. The high shooter of Company E with a score of 333 out of 350 possible points is PFC Burleson. The high shooter of Company N with a score of 330 out of 350 possible points is PFC DeFilippo. Presenting the awards today are the combat marksmanship instructors who are responsible for instilling the knowledge and the proficiency of the company high shooters. They are Sergeant Porter and Sergeant Hembry. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished graduates of Company E and Company N. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Anchors Aweigh, which represents the historic partnership and shared legacy of the United States Navy and the Marine Corps, followed by the Marines Hymn and the final dismissal. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Sergeants of Company E and Company N, First Sergeant Ferreira and First Sergeant Palmer.
Good morning, sir. Company First Sergeant reporting his order. Aye, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Company First Sergeant reporting his order. Aye, aye, ma'am.
Senior drill instructor, dismiss your platoon! Aye, aye, my sergeant! Senior drill instructor, dismiss your platoon!
The senior drill instructors will now dismiss their platoons. This is the last and probably the most welcome order the new Marines receive from their senior drill instructors.